There are some betrayals that don't just break your heart. They rewire your entire understanding of trust. And then, there are betrayals that do something far more dangerous. They wake you up. They show you exactly who you are. And exactly who the people around you have been all along. Tonight's story isn't about heartbreak. It's about control, deception, and the moment a man realizes he was never the victim in the game. He was the battlefield. My name is Cole Ryland. I'm 45 years old. I've seen places most people only hear about in classified briefings or late-night documentaries. 11 years in special operations teaches you things: how to read silence, how to sense danger before it arrives, and how to survive when trust becomes a liability. But nothing in those 11 years prepared me for what was waiting inside my own home. These days, I run a tactical training center outside Knoxville, Tennessee. It's a quieter life, structured, predictable. I train law enforcement, private contractors, people who still live in the world I left behind. At home, I had something better. Or at least, I thought I did. My wife, Lynette. 16 years of marriage. 2 kids, Tyler and Grace. A life that wasn't perfect, but it was real. Solid. The kind of life you fight to come back to. But about 2 years ago, something changed. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quietly. Like a shadow shifting just enough that you start questioning the light. Lynette began coming home later. Not every night, just enough to make it noticeable. Her smiles became shorter. Her conversations, emptier. And her eyes? They stopped meeting mine. At first, I told myself it was stress. Work pressure. Life. I even blamed myself, figured maybe I wasn't present enough, maybe I'd brought too much of my past into our present. But deep down, something didn't sit right. And instinct, once trained, never truly goes away. The first real sign came on a Thursday. I got home early, unexpectedly. The house was quiet, her car already in the driveway. And then I noticed it. The smell. Not perfume. Cologne. Sharp. Woodsy. Unfamiliar. Not mine. I stood there in the hallway longer than I should have, just breathing it in, letting my mind process what my instincts had already concluded. Someone had been there. Lynette came downstairs moments later, freshly changed, hair still damp at the edges. Her smile came too fast. Too wide. "You're home early," she said. And right then, I knew. Not everything. But enough. Weeks passed, and I said nothing. Because sometimes the most dangerous move is reacting too soon. Then one morning, my neighbor Frank stopped me. He's the kind of man who notices things without trying to. He told me about a car. Dark blue sedan. Parked at the end of the street. Watching my house. Not once. Multiple times. And just like that, this wasn't about suspicion anymore. This was surveillance. That night, I installed a trail camera facing the street. For days later, it gave me exactly what I needed. The car. The angle. The driver. And when I enhanced the image, my world didn't fall apart. It sharpened. Because I recognized him. Brent Kirby. A man I had trusted with my life. A man who once had my back in combat zones where hesitation meant death. A man who now sat outside my home, watching my family. That's when everything changed. Because this wasn't just betrayal. This was strategy. And if Brent Kirby was involved, then this wasn't random. It was deliberate. Calculated. Planned. That night, while my family slept, I searched the house. Carefully. Quietly. And then I found it. Hidden behind books on a shelf. A camera. Small. Professional. Precise. Pointed directly into my living room. Inside my home. I didn't panic. I didn't react. I poured a drink, sat down, and thought. Because now I understood something very important. They thought I didn't know. And that was my greatest advantage. There's a moment in every operation when you stop reacting and start hunting. This was that moment. The next few days, I played my role perfectly. Husband. Father. Business owner. Nothing changed on the surface. But underneath, I was rebuilding the entire board. I moved every sensitive document out of the house. Replaced them with decoys, convincing enough to fool someone who thought they were ahead of me. And then I checked her phone. Not out of anger. Out of necessity. Her messages weren't fully deleted. Just cleaned enough to look normal. But one contact remained. Saved as B. Brent. 7 messages. Carefully worded. And then the one that mattered. He keeps work files in the house. Find out where. And her reply? I'll look this weekend. That was the moment betrayal became reality. Not suspicion. Not doubt. Proof. But here's the thing most people don't understand. The loud kind of anger. It makes you reckless. The quiet kind. It makes you dangerous. So I stayed quiet. I let her think she was still ahead. Meanwhile, I dug deeper. With help from an old contact, I uncovered the rest. Brent wasn't working alone. A man named Roger Stahl, financial operator, clean on paper, dirty underneath. Together, they ran a system. A system that used relationships, spouses, trust, to extract valuable information from people like me. I wasn't special. I was a target. And Lynette? She was the access point. But one question remained. Was she fully aware? Or just another piece on their board? So I created an opportunity. I sent the kids away for the weekend. Told Lynette I'd be working. And left the house empty. That night, she walked into silence. No kids. No husband. No distractions. Just opportunity. Exactly what she, and Brent, had been waiting for. And I waited too. Because sometimes, the best way to catch someone is to give them exactly what they want. What Lynette didn't know was that she wasn't the only one being watched anymore. Through my own surveillance, and help from Carla, I tracked everything. Her movements. Her calls. Her timing. And Brent? He wasn't just watching anymore. He was preparing to move. Then came the final piece. A photograph. Taken nearly a year ago. My backyard. My family. Me, completely unaware. They hadn't just entered my life recently. They had been studying it. Learning it. Waiting. That was the moment everything became clear. This wasn't just betrayal. This was infiltration. So I made my final moves. Legal preparations. Evidence secured. All communication documented. And when the time came, I didn't explode. I executed. Lynette never saw it coming. Neither did Brent. Because while they thought they were manipulating a broken man, they forgot something important. I wasn't broken. I was trained. And in the end, the truth came out. The operation collapsed. And every piece on their board was exposed. Lynette lost everything she thought she was building. Brent lost the one thing he depended on. Invisibility. And me? I didn't just survive. I understood. Because sometimes, life doesn't destroy you with betrayal. It reveals you through it. Not every betrayal is meant to destroy you. Some are meant to reveal the truth you were too comfortable to see.